we have with us this evening Bruce Graham, goes by Graham, and he is is it a one-man show?
Oh, yeah.
It's a one-man show. Going to be at the Hedgerow Theater, where we'll tell you exactly where it is, because I know you've heard the name, but you might forget exactly where it is. It is called The Philly Fan, and it is, quote-unquote, Philadelphia's own Bruce Graham tackles his celebrated one-man tour de force in a newly updated version performed by the playwright himself. The Philly Fan offers an unapologetic perspective of a hardcore sports fan through a lifetime of experience with the soaring highs, crushing lows, and inherent emotional baggage that comes with Philly fandom. Pull up a bar stool. But before we dig into the behind the actor studio or whatever, Al, tell us about our sponsors real quick.
All right. Well, speaking of pulling up a bar stool, I go to
There you
dolansbar.com,
go.
24 East Sellers Avenue, Ridley Park, in the 19078. That's what we call segue in the industry, people. At dolansbar.com, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, they got it. Tan PJ will be taking care of you. Quizzo, music, great times, memorabilia giveaways. You never know who's going to be there. But go to dolansbar.com or just go to 24 East Sellers
It could
Avenue.
be an intervention.
It has been for Holbrook a couple times. And if you need an intervention, you're a typical Delco scumbag, and you need a little criminal law help, no. Or if you get hurt at work in a motor vehicle.
If you're a
personal
typical
injury.
Philly fan and, punch a horse cop.
Yeah. Or workers' comp, motor vehicle, personal injury, you go to cherryinjurylog.com. The Cherry firm, David R. Cherry, will fight for your rights at 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylog.com. And if you're looking for a delicious snack while you're in the jail cell, you go to fatcowjerky.com.
Gotta have that protein.
Utterly perfect jerky. Go to fatcowjerky.com. Follow on Facebook and Instagram. Jalapeno garlic, black pepper garlic, honey bourbon, you name it. They got it. So many flavors and more coming out. They even have treats for your favorite four-legged friend. Go to fatcowjerky.com. Hey, Delco. Would you like to sell your house quickly without having to fix anything or go through a realtor? Are you behind on your mortgage or property taxes? Did you inherit a property? Are you a landlord just tired of fixing leaky toilets? Well, we got the answer for you. Visit www.evanbuyspa.com for a no-obligation cash offer. That's right, Evan buys houses in Delco for cash, as is. For a fair cash offer, go to www.evanbuyspa.com. With Evan, you don't have to pay any commissions, and you can close on the date of your choice. If there's anything you want to leave behind on the property, like heavy furniture, trash bags, all the junk in the basement, you can do it. And for a limited time, he will cover all your closing costs. That's right. Visit evanbuyspa.com. That's evanbuyspa.com. Again, the website is evanbuyspa.com.
Honey and bourbon's why I didn't make it to work today. Anyway, the other half of that is because I'm a Philly fan myself, and was watching the Birds. So, Graham, you are Delco born and raised.
Ridley. Took me 35 years to get off Millmont Avenue. My first house that I bought was on Millmont Avenue.
Love it.
Yeah, one side of McDade Boulevard to the other. That was it.
Love it.
Yep.
Love it. Did you go to Ridley too?
Yep.
Okay.
Class of 75.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you have been in this area the whole time. You have, like you said, you graduated in 75. So you were prime age for those 80s Phillies, the 80, Eagles and all that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And, it's listed as a playwright.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was your first works? How did you incorporate getting out of Ridley into putting together a career writing?
Not a lot of showbiz connections in Ridley.
Yeah.
But no, when I was 16, I was playing some
Hold
open
on, they
mics.
do open mic at Dolan sometimes.
Oh, God. No, I used to there was a place called Piper's right on Chester Pike and a couple other places. A place called the Library where I do open mics. And I tell my mother I was at the library. I was in high school. She'd say, "Why'd you smell like smoke?" But yeah, so I started out doing stand-up, and my training was as an actor. And then I went to New York and realized there weren't many parts for short, balding 22-year-olds who aren't photogenic. So I started writing parts for short, balding.
How about fat, balding 40-year-olds?
Well, that's what I'm turning into. So it's okay. Well, 40 was a few years ago.
Yeah, I love that there weren't parts for you, so you just started writing for yourself.
Yeah, basically.
It's not a bad move.
If I can't find one, I'll make one myself. I
like
it.
It worked for Stallone. He was a little bigger than me, but then. I was a school teacher in the Roche Media School District. I was at Pencrest, and writing my plays. And there was a theater in Philly that did new American plays, and they They did one and kind of adopted me. I did like 15 plays in 12 years there. Some I shouldn't have.
You were
They were
in,
terrible.
or you?
No, I wrote them.
You wrote 15 plays.
Yeah, and some of them are real crap. Yeah.
I'm just saying, I can't write 15 paragraphs, and all of them would be crap.
I can't write 15.
Anytime
words.
we need something written, I go, Holbrook, write me something. I create the graphic, Holbrook, write me something to go with this. Like that's what
it says that this one that you're doing is approximately 85 minutes. Or were all 15 of them like
Oh
over an hour?
no, they were sometimes 2 hours. They were full lengths. This is
That's crazier.
Yeah, yeah. And
what were they about?
Oh, everything. It's use your family, use your friends. I use my cousin's garage in Derby for one of my best plays called North of the Boulevard.
Oh yeah, like that's a great name.
So everybody argued about the boulevard. We had people going Roosevelt Boulevard.
Yeah,
say, no, let's make a boulevard.
Yeah, no. We had the same thing. We actually had a big thing a couple years ago, the Battle of the Pike.
Yeah,
oh,
Is
really?
the Pike Baltimore Pikers at Westchester Pike?
Yeah. With
there's
Boulevard
also
in the middle
Chester
there.
Pike too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks. Boulevard, I do actually think Roosevelt Boulevard. But,
Yeah, if you said I live by the Boulevard,
Yeah.
I'm gonna think Roosevelt.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, but knowing that you're from Millmont,
Mhm.
yeah, I was like, it's probably about
I didn't correct anybody. I was like, yeah, think whatever you want. As
Sure.
long as I got your ticket money, I'm
Yeah,
fine,
buy the
you know.
ticket, and shut your mouth.
So one was called Across the Boulevard. What are some of the other?
I
names?
just, Berkey was my first, and then that went up to New York, where it flopped. I've had like 11 New York flops. Finally, I had a hit. I stopped reading reviews 20 years ago
Okay.
because my wife said, when the good ones piss you off, stop reading them.
Yeah, yeah.
And literally, I walked into the theater, and the review is over the bar. So naturally, I'm at the bar, and so if it's hanging over the bar, it's a rave. And it still got
Okay.
me angry because they gave away a whole opening surprise. So yeah, I don't
It's just
read them.
spoiler alert the whole time.
Yeah,
It's like someone would reviewed The Sixth Sense. They're like, surprised he's dead the whole time. Anyway.
he sees dead people.
Yeah.
Okay. So early one evening at the Rainbow. My most popular one around here has been Moon Over the Brewery, and it's the Yingling Brewery.
Love
I
it.
used to go to a party up there.
You
every
mean
year.
makers of Lord Chesterfield?
Yes.
Chetty
yes.
Chetty Bang
Yeah.
Bang.
The Chesters.
Yeah. So get your product placement in
One day they'll sponsor us.
Yes, and so just
And he
wherever.
means the sponsors who are going to help us get over our crippling
Yeah.
addiction, not give us money for our problems.
Hey, as long as I get the free beer,
Yeah,
I'd
right, that's
be
how I
happy
look
with
at
that. Yeah. So then I segued into movies and television, and retired from that because I was at Hallmark for 7 years and kind of wanted to kill myself. But I did a lot of stuff there. 3 Christmas movies. Man, they
My hero and Al's nemesis. Oh my God, that's literally what
can
we
you
were
name
just
the
talking about before you
movies?
walked in.
Yeah, well, we were
Um,
talking about Kosovo. But tell me, give me the names of the Hallmark movies.
The
now.
most wonderful time of the year. That's the moment Henry Winkler. That's what everybody remembers.
I love it. How
Um,
many have Shannon Doherty in it?
Trading Christmas, The Christmas Secret. And I did 3 years of Cedar Cove. This town where nobody has any problems.
Of course.
And
Because the thing is, I've seen all these movies
yeah, you were saying your wife was-
forcefully,
Uh-huh.
kind of like how they, when they kidnap war veterans and all this stuff and make them take their eyes open and watch what my wife does to me. So
And you haven't gotten Stockholm syndrome yet?
I
And,
know,
started
and
loving
the
them?
funny thing is, I said to my wife, I said, so if you ever notice it, it's I said, it's always one of few things. It's either big city, little town, big city, either way, going either way. But it's not really a nice thing. I'm going to marry this guy. And up until I came to this place, this was the man of my world right now. He's going to be the guy.
Well, now
But
I
I met
realize
my-
this rustic farmer was my true love.
Or my old boyfriend from back in high school
Yeah,
that I should have just never let go. And I'm going to cheat on him, then leave him when he finally comes to town and made that trip across country to come see me. And I'm like, you know what? If I said to my wife, I said, if I came to you and said, listen, one of my buddies ruined a marriage or an engagement or something like that. Yeah,
I was going to say, Al, it sounds a little personal.
Hey, listen, I'm just saying. And I told you this whole story, and I just told you how that movie played out. You would think it was terrible, but because you put some Christmas in the background, it's acceptable.
Absolutely.
So you're saying I was wrong to do this in the summer.
Yes, you should have done it around December.
Now, I was the first author, though, to have a bar scene in a Hallmark Christmas movie.
Oh,
Yes, Henry Winkler drinking in a bar. It's like, boy, I'm really pushing the envelope here.
Oh
you know?
my
Like,
goodness,
yeah.
that is edgy.
Can I ask a question?
That is
Sure.
like Elvis being shot from the waist down, man.
Henry Winkler, is he cool as he seems?
Oh, I wasn't on the set. I spoke to him on the phone. Oh, everybody loved him. You know, and believe me, I know these people enough to know they don't, love everybody. So
Yeah,
no, he
yeah.
was a real nice guy. And we had a nice talk on the phone. He wrote me a nice note. He really loved the script. So no, I thought it was very clear.
Because Hallmark movies really started to change when the Camerons left. Kirk and what's her girl played DJ in Full House.
See, you got to understand.
Candace.
I never even watched my movies.
You don't watch the movies?
No, I watched.
I know for a fact Holbrook. He's in many bands. Has never listened to his own music because it's terrible.
I've never listened to my own music, and I've also never listened to an episode of Delco Live.
I have to make sure the audio is good.
I literally have never listened to an episode of Delco Live.
Funny stories. One time
They're
watched
all terrible in my opinion because I'm my own harshest critic.
Yeah. I pulled up. I was up. It was on the Pike, on Chester Pike, and I pulled up and I hear my voice, but it's not coming from anywhere around me. I pulled up next to a car and the guy had the podcast on his show, and I honked at the guy like, just like being a dick. First of all, what a dick move I am. Like, hey, that's me. Like, instead of saying like, I waved at him, the guy just flips me off and drives away. Like this, I probably had no clue who I was.
Sure.
Because A, he's listening to the audio podcast, and maybe he's never seen me. And second of all, I don't say, "Hey, that's me." I just wave at him like he should know that. So I deserve being flipped off.
So back to your story, so you graduated Ridley.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to get into acting.
Yeah.
You moved to New York to become an actor. No training.
No, I've been trained. Yeah, I was had 4 years at Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Oh, IUP. man.
IUP, yeah.
IUP. Okay. Okay. So you went there for fine arts and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And okay. Then you moved to New York, right after college and all that, trying to make it, couldn't find a role, started writing from there. Okay. I thought you were just like some Hallmark savant that just knew exactly how to write these things right off the bat.
No.
Okay.
In fact, I'm not even trained as a playwright, which the New York
Is
Times
anyone-
has pointed out numerous times.
is anyone how do you even really get into that?
I teach it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
do you teach English?
I used to be an English teacher.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. When it's near your roastery, okay.
To me, and I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but you may not be trained, but a lot of people don't start off with training in something, and then take sports, sports announcing, sports writing. People start blogs, start like that. At what point does it say that you've been trained or not? If you write 4,000 articles on a blog, are you still trained or not trained at that point? Sometimes on the work training does count for something, right? Even if it's self-taught.
Well, the problem is in my business, you got to make your mistakes in public.
I did a
that
couple
joke you
times.
think is going to kill gets crickets and tumbleweeds and stuff going by, and
Yeah.
that little one-liner
Awful
you
lot of
threw in
crickets
stops the
to flop.
show.
Yeah.
So you never know until you get out
It's
there.
funny
and do
we
it.
said that because we that's one of our main things when we're having our collabs and just talking and coming up with ideas and guests and all that. We're sitting there going I could sit here for 2 hours, design the funniest meme, graphic video, write the funniest jokes and all that stuff, skits or whatever, and hold on, we got 12 views on that video. I just plop something on my head, put it up there, 10,000 views later. I'm like, it's a lot of mistakes with a couple gold moments.
Right. So you did the whole Hallmark thing, which I think is literally just fantastic. That's amazing. Was Valerie Bertinelli in any of them?
Valerie Bertinelli.
No.
Oh, darn. We call her Valerie Bertinelli.
Yeah.
Her son's a decent guitarist.
Okay. Segue much.
He married Ed Van Halen and popped out the kid, man.
I know, but it's just funny.
She was
how
in
you-
every Lifetime movie. I don't know.
Yes,
just
she was
sprinkled over to
Lifetime.
fucking
Yeah.
Hallmark.
Yep.
Okay, so then you moved into teaching, and then you still had the creative, fire.
Yeah.
And is this the first thing you've done in a while?
As an actor, no, I've been working as an actor down at Delaware Theater Company and places, but this play was written in 2004.
Oh.
The Philly Fan was written into
It was for a local
It
actor.
does
named-
say it was updated.
Yeah,
Okay,
right, yeah.
all right.
So yeah,
Okay.
there was a local actor, Tom McCarthy.
Okay,
And-
so that I saw that name. That's not
Yeah.
the Phillies announcer.
No.
Okay.
And it was his idea, and he got a grant because he knows I don't write for free. And came over to the house one day and threw me the story. I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And I was on a flight to London where I was opening another play, and I started writing it on the plane because I think I was homesick. And I was just, but he was at some of these games, or I was 3 years old, like the '60, Eagles championship to go over to the Packers.
Yeah.
So I just called him up. I said, "Yo, what was it? Oh, it was the day after Christmas. I had a hangover you wouldn't believe. It was really freezing." And so he just gave me the whole.
You're just sitting there
thing.
writing this
Oh,
down.
yeah, go
You're like,
slower.
You're like,
Go
slow down, slow
Yeah.
down, Tom. Slow
Yeah.
down. I got you here.
Yep. So
It's funny because every time I call Holbrook, he talks about how hungover he is.
I'm
So
actively hungover. Right
yeah.
well, you're faking it well. It's good. It's okay. But the
Hair of the dog.
It ran off and
Lord
on for
Chesterfield.
14 years.
Mhm.
And we played the casinos, and we did the media theater. So we'd book it 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 weeks here, and for like 14 years. But I had to, if something happened, it's always the night before a big game.
Okay.
So people say, "Well, why did you put that joke in?" Because we're talking 2018, and that happened in 2019. I can't do that. We had some people came back to see it a dozen times. So I
That's
was always
awesome.
trying to throw a couple new jokes in. But I was, and Marcy's heard this. I was out. I took my father to see it. It was in Old City, and the theater sits back a little bit, and I see these young guys coming down in flyer shirts with a cooler. I went, "Guys, play's over here." And my father looked at me. I said, "I'm the only playwright in America whose audience shows up with a cooler." Because they had their beer and they were going to see the film.
I knew I liked you for a
Love
reason.
that.
Believe me, I usually have my cooler too. So it's.
I
Yeah.
love that. Okay, so you said you started to work on this in 2004, which was like that was truly
Yeah.
a tough time. The Eagles,
Oh, yeah.
0 Super Bowls. The Phillies, 1980, and we were 24 years removed from that. 11 years since the Joe Carter home run.
700 years from when the Flyers won the Stanley Cup. Yeah.
It was the year with the
I was in
Flyers.
high school. Yeah.
Yeah.
04 was like the year that the Flyers had like the best team ever put together, and we lost to Tampa Bay in the
Right.
in the
Mhm.
Eastern Conference Finals.
Mhm.
The Eagles had just lost to Tampa Bay in the like that was a rough time.
That playoff. I was at that game.
Oh, God.
Last game at the Vet. Oh.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
I was there.
Oh,
was
yeah.
I was at both the last game and the first game because they played Tampa both times.
Yeah,
Ah,
and lost
yeah.
both times.
And they lost both times.
I was at the Phillies last game at the Vet, and they lost to the fucking Braves. Yeah, so that was like the ultimate peak of like misery as a sports fan in this
Yep.
area, because there's nothing worse. Like the Flyers suck now; they're going to suck for years. So there's nothing worse when the teams are pretty good and you think like this is it, and then they break your heart. So in 2004, when you started writing this, I might have missed if you had said it. Did you actually run it in 2004 at any point?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the first time we did it. Was 2004.
Okay, and it's
Yeah.
about the agony of defeat up until then.
Mm-hmm.
And you had interviewed the
So wait, did the Super Bowl come up in that one? The Eagles lost in the Super
Oh
Bowl?
yeah. Oh sure.
Okay,
We do
all
a
right.
whole thing about.
I wasn't
Neil.
sure how like the timeline worked out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a one-man show. Is it you just like an ongoing monologue of like
It opens in a bar, and I get talking to a stool there, and it's a guy from Dallas, And
I was going to say I saw the Dallas version. It's called the Vagina Monologue.
yeah,
Yeah, see that? See that? I wrote that one down. I've been waiting to use that all night.
Well, and then there are other characters. There's my best friend. There's my son. There's my, and you just have to, and we move around. There's a living room set. We have 2 original Vet Stadium seats.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
that we used.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
If you need any from the core states spectrum, I have several at my dad's
Oh,
house.
really?
Yeah.
Actually,
I
that's
went
all. He can't afford couches, so he just uses that.
Well, you needed to
That's
get
okay.
several that connect to each other.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I have a bunch. I can't fit in them anymore.
Yeah.
People
Could you?
Smaller people are smaller. And
Speaking of, he's not making a joke because Wells Fargo did a huge upgrade over the last couple of years back now.
Mhm.
And I mean, I become a seat snob over my lifetime. But they did make the chairs smaller, and like I'm not just making this up because I'm fat, but in the upper bowl. So like I can't even think if I wanted to sit in the upper bowl. That's so they can fit more seats in there.
Right.
And then they open up the bedding part and all that stuff up top above that all. Because I mean they made it like to the point like my son who's very skinny was like, oh man, it's just tight in here. I'm like, I'm hovering, bro. I'm cheek to cheek on the handles here. Like I'm not even like I stood most of the game to the people behind me who weren't super happy. But yeah, like they literally made those seats smaller. It's ridiculous.
So the Philly fan ran, and is there only 2 versions? There's the 2004.
Oh
and the
no,
current updated one.
we kept changing it because I think that was we played Carolina in a playoff game.
Yeah.
And so it was the night
04 into 05, and that
right.
ruined my life.
And then we would,
Funny thing is, local guy Danny Morgan was in that game. He played for Carolina. Clifton Heights football player who was Miami Hurricane, played for Carolina that year.
Did he? Because I'm pretty sure he was later and played with the Carolina team with Cam Newton, didn't he?
No.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It was 05. That was the year that McNabb broke his rib and couldn't
And
continue
actually,
to play.
funny story is downstairs in the office part of our studio is a framed picture of Danny Morgan who played in that game. It's like, oh, Danny, you broke my dreams.
That's true. So okay, so in 04, you revamped it after we lost later that year.
right, and then we added one time when we won the World Series,
yeah,
we filmed the parade. And the line was always, wait till next year. Talking about the Super Bowl. Wait till next year. Wait till next. And so we filmed Tommy, and I made my cameo. My director and I are like Hitchcock standing in the background there. And he turns to the camera and goes, wait till next year. When are we going to win a fucking Super Bowl? And that's so what we did is we edited Tommy out, and we still we have a lot of projections and things.
Okay.
So you're seeing Michael Irvin get knocked down and us cheering like crazy, you know. You're seeing that. You're seeing the Flyers, the Broad Street Bullies. So we project all this stuff up there. So we do have the Phillies parade there. You know, we just a snippet.
I love that.
Yeah.
And the tagline was "There's always next year," because that's Jason Stark wrote a book about the 08 Phillies, and that's the name of the book.
Yeah.
Is that there was always next year?
Mhm.
Is the year we finally won.
Well, there was a really good book about the Eagles called "If Football's a Religion, Why Don't We Have a Prayer?" And it was a guy from Haverford who worked for the New York Times, and he interviewed me, and I told him the story about my daughter's 5 days old, and a friend of ours, Sandy, has her, and the game's getting tight. I said, "Give me the kid." She goes, "What?" I said, "You're going to spike her," you know. And he put that story in to start his book because his son was born like a day before my daughter. He goes, "Yeah, that was a Giants game. I remember that game." So I was like, "Oh yeah, I had a kid that week, but yeah, it was the Giants. We beat them."
Oh yeah. That thing was boring. Yeah.
The original runs, were they at the Hedgerow Theater as well?
No, we never did Hedgerow. We did the Media Theater.
Okay.
And then I thought, you know, Tom's in his 80s. He's retired. I thought the play was done. And then Marcy Bramucci here, the artistic director, with the help of one of her board members, who was my drama coach at Ridley, Sandy Stefanowitz, they got together and asked if I would update it and then play the part. Because I never saw myself playing this part. Other parts of my plays, yeah, not this. So, but being out there for 70-some minutes by yourself.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
That's
is.
terrifying.
Yeah.
Because
Well, you
you said you did stand up, right?
Yeah.
I tried stand up like twice. I gotta tell you, it's terrifying. It's the same thing as like when I play like acoustic music. When you're up there by yourself and it's just you and just the silence, and you were just hoping that you get the reaction you want. Because I mean, if you're an actor, you and a live actor, you gotta admit, you're basically like an internal like the whore for the claps. Like you want it. You get high off it.
Yes.
Like you get high off it. Like that's why people do it, man.
Yep.
I don't get that. I don't understand how that works.
And if you don't get that, dude, you mentally plummet. And if it's just you with eyes on you, it's terrifying. I have no idea how you do it for 85 minutes.
It's tonight we had
Do you picture them all naked?
I can't see that far. No, it's
Okay,
dark.
perfect, because you don't want to see anything.
Is it because it's dark or the lights?
Both.
The lights are terrifying because they
yes.
make you sweat, and you're like,
Yeah.
I see the sweat.
But
Holbrook,
tonight we
you're
had our
always
first
sweating.
audience. We had an invited guest, and that was great because automatically you're focusing more. You know, it's not like just everybody, the tech folks who've heard the jokes a million times. You know, it's and so it went. There were some fluffs along the way, but we got through it.
Is
and,
it specific dialogue?
Oh yeah,
It's like line for line that you
Oh, yeah.
fucking remember.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
85 minutes of literally like because
Homer can't remember what time to be here, let alone
Mhm.
a line.
you can't mess up like a syllable because it might throw off. Oh my God, I don't know how you do it.
And
Is there
then
cue
also
cards
you got to remember the
cue cards or
delivery.
a teleprompter or anything? Just to
no.
keep- My God, you're doing it raw dog.
Yep. Well, I've been learning these
God
lines
bless
for
you,
the last
sir.
4 months. In the car, I got a tape. In fact, I got it right here. This tape recorder. I live with this tape recorder.
I love
It's
that.
got the play on it. And when I drive home to Philly,
So
tonight-
you have the bootleg copy. That's so Delco.
I do. Yes. Yes. Don't stay on the lobby. Yeah.
And when you say one man
You
show,
can hear him going to the bathroom in intermission.
like
You hear
Naked Gun.
and when you say one man show, it is truly a one man show of you talking to an empty bar stool that
Yep.
is, it's supposed to be a Cowboys fan.
Mhm.
You on a couch that is supposed to be like your friend you're talking
Yep.
to. My God, that is rough. That is just Oof. I respect the living
I've
hell
been-
out of you.
I've been in show business 50 years. This is the scariest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it's 85 minutes. And it's if anyone's wondering, it's at the Hedgerow Theater, which is in Media on the it's in Rose Valley Road. If you're familiar with the Old Mill wedding venue or the Philadelphia Institute of Technology, that's where it is.
Yeah, they tried ripping me off the Old Mill when I got
believe
married.
it. But because
Yeah.
I was like, I know Media really well. I just couldn't picture it. I've seen the name a million times. It's the one down there. The Moylan train stop, that's the name of it down there.
Yep.
Okay. How many people does that hold?
100,
Okay.
Okay.
and we're selling like crazy. It's great.
How many showings do you have?
We're doing 3 weeks,
Okay.
and with a possible extension because we are selling so well. And we're doing 6 shows a week, I guess.
Wow. So you get like one day off.
Well, we double up, so that's gonna be fun. The 2 show days.
Yeah.
Luckily, there's a big couch in my dressing room because I'm taking a nap.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
It started to while we're filming. It started tonight. You got the preview tonight and tomorrow, and then the grand opening is
Friday.
It's Friday, September 29th, just in case this comes out later. And if you missed it that night, that's fine because you got your second day. You have a matinee and a night show, a 2 and a
Right.
7. Then Sunday, it doesn't say a time for October 1st.
No.
Oh, you don't do anything. Then it's Wednesday through Sunday.
It's the Eagles game. He's not doing anything.
They're all
Yeah.
4:00 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I checked. when
Except
we
for
were
this
putting-
Sunday. This Sunday is a
At 1 o'clock,
not
but we don't
doing-
have a
he's
show.
not doing it.
Exactly.
Yep.
That was on
October-
purpose.
And it's Washington.
October 8th,
Yeah.
you'll be you can watch. You can go and watch it, and then the Eagles don't start until 4:15,
Yeah.
4:20.
Oh, believe me, we'll be out on time.
Yeah, October 15th is the Jets game. Is
Now,
that
we,
right?
we
Yeah,
specifically
no.
looked at the calendar. We're putting it together.
Smart move.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
I mean, what was it? Tommy and Me. That was the Ray Dinger play.
Right.
He was like planning things around. That's why they moved it around. I remember him talking about that on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a little asterisks here on the calendar.
Put on
It's-
your glasses, dude. You're struggling over there.
I don't have my glasses on yet.
Oh.
6:30 pre-show Dollar Dog Night.
Oh yeah, we got dollar dog nights. We've got tailgating nights. I just go on the website, hedgerowtheater.org.
Oh, the tailgate nights this show is outdoors.
No, the
Oh, okay.
tailgating is, but they come inside. Can't wait to play to
they
that audience.
promote genius marketing. Genius.
October 8th, the one before the Eagles Rams game, you have it listed as a relaxed performance.
That is
Oh, no pants.
Yeah, that's
It's no pants.
Pants optional.
Pants
for that.
optional.
I love
that
those.
is a special performance for like learning disabled and
Oh,
autistic
okay.
stuff, so that we can they can see a show and not worry about everybody else in the audience. So it's
Gotcha.
relaxed,
Okay,
and it's a great
okay.
idea.
I still
Yeah.
think the no pants thing is a go.
That's a dressing room.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It also notes on here that the Hedgerow Theater is 100 years old this year.
Yep.
Look at that. We have a little gem under in our county the whole time now.
If we just
100 years
just if we read and paid attention, we'd be really good at this.
Is it 100 years consecutively? Okay, not like the Lansdowne Theater where it's been
There
open
was
for
a
3 years out
fire.
of 600.
There was a fire years ago, and they had to close down, and they moved to Widener. I think they were doing shows. Widener University let them have a theater,
Okay.
so they were able to keep the seasons going. But it was definitely quite a few years before it was 5 years before people.
Does
could
that
start
count
coming
towards the 100? Okay. I keep looking over here to make sure I have the appropriate day. I'm getting the head nod. Yes,
Yep.
we're good.
Is the overall concept of this, is it supposed to be comedy?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
90%. We, there's a
Are there
Self-deprecating
serious
is like a
stuff.
self-deprecating
Oh,
comedy.
a Philly fan. Of
Yeah,
course
I
it's
love it.
self-deprecating. Yeah,
It's kind
this
of
guy's always wrong.
Is
You
there-
know,
Okay. Is there parts that hit you in the
I swear to God.
feels?
I'm sorry. I thought you were my wife for a second. Oh, thank you. You got a little PTSD right there.
Are there parts that hit you in the feels that'll get you a little choked up?
I think so.
Good. I
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, we.
Gotta
we-
sprinkle in the
I got a
feels.
text tonight from one of the audience members, and you made me cry. And it's like, good.
Good.
Okay.
Then that means
But-
I did a good job.
But
Yeah.
then we get back to the laughs. So it's
Yeah.
95%.
Even a
Okay.
good comedy movie has those.
Yeah.
And that's the part of it. It's like if you're eating sweet stuff all the time, you need a little something salty to break it up there. So
Mhm.
kind of the same idea, right?
Well, the first time we did it, Tommy was going, I don't know if you want this stuff. It's kind of serious.
Me
And I
neither.
said, and that's the scene everybody remembers.
Yep.
Because a lot of people come up who aren't sports fans, but like it. Because I was like, that's my father, that's my brother. Oh my God.
Oh,
My
yeah.
husband
You
just like
know
that.
that guy.
And
Yeah.
so we wanted to make him just not another, loudmouth in a bar. The guy really has a heart and a
Funny,
family.
I looked at you, Holbrook, when he said that.
Oh, like mouth in a bar.
Yeah.
I could look at myself too.
Yeah.
I just started thinking, I'm like, the last time I man cried was watching Ted, where you think Ted died.
No, you know what?
Oh, did Ted?
I'll tell you.
Yeah,
I don't know if
that's
any.
like
It's
pure
a,
comedy.
I love that movie.
And I
the
was like,
last
but
time
when
I
you
kind of
think
got
he died-
man welled up was I just recently watched the Kelsey.
Oh my
on
God, it's
Amazon.
amazing.
I hear it's terrific.
It's great, and
perfect.
there is parts in it, like especially like towards the end, the last 15, 20 minutes of it, where it gets you in the feels. And technically, very Delco-centric movie because he lives in Havertown.
Right.
He
So
married
they
a
go,
Narberth girl.
huh?
He married a Narberth girl.
Married an Narberth girl
Went
who
to
is, by the way,
Lawrence.
looks it talks very Delco because they
Yeah.
talk to her a lot in it, and like they're always in their house or their backyard. So I mean, you don't see anything else around it. And he talks a lot about sales. So there's a lot of local connections for people, even though he is from Ohio. People forget that.
Jason's always sore. I want him to retire.
Yeah.
We got kids. Take the trash out, Jason.
There's a part where you're just like, ooh, that's so Delco right there. You get the Delco feels in the moments.
Well,
So,
Delco is, it's the mayor of Easttown.
yeah.
But Delco, and it's because people would say, "Oh, where do you live?" And I said, "Did you watch Mayor of Easttown? Yeah,
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
I've gotten with my job, like I call vendors and stuff that are out of the area, other parts of the country. And actually today I got roasted by a person, and she goes, "Let me guess, it's Wooder." I'm like, "It's always been Wooder.
Yeah.
Tell me when it wasn't Wooder, and I'll call you a liar."
I broke myself of the habit when I was an actor.
Oh,
I didn't know.
yeah.
I didn't have an accent, and then go out to Western Pennsylvania, and suddenly they were like, "Oh, Wooder how's Eric? Is Eric hysterical?" So I started to say water, and then when I put it on the tape, I actually put it in the script as Wooder.
Oh yeah.
So I got back in the habit of saying it, as salt water, So,
Which guys?
When we
Yeah.
we do like little cartoons and like things every so often. When I write dialogue, I write it phonetically,
Yeah.
so that way the people reading it will know like we're not saying water; it's said water.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, when we started
Spell check is useless.
Yeah. Right. I always think dialogue should always be written.
It's
phonetically.
funny because I had it's a version. It's like Word, but it's not exactly Word. And in Word and those kind of programs, you can set like if you put like a word that it automatically populates, a sentence or a paragraph or whatever. But when we started doing this, I made sure that it changed water to water. Like if I typed in water, it would change it to water. Like those are like I had to. I made sure that I was doing that way. And it's funny because when we first started doing podcasting about 10 years ago, even before I was working with him, somebody came to me and goes, "Yeah, it was real good, real funny. I liked it. But a couple critiques. Number one is make sure it's less of your face. That's number one. And then number two, you talk really fast.
We all do.
And out of the side of your mouth. You need to learn to just slow it down a little bit and maybe enunciate every so often." And I'm like, got it. And I kind of had to learn to do that, like just to draw things out to make it more interesting. And listen, like you said, taking critiques, you got to be able to take them and run with them and try to pick the good from the bad out for people who are just being nasty or jealous. You get a lot of jealousy when you do with this, and people trying to tell you to do. Numerous times we'll get people reaching out to us about how we're doing things wrong, and we simply invite them on the show and say, "Listen, come on in and tell us what we're doing wrong. You will host. You will tell us what you." Nobody really ever takes us up on the offer, but even tried roasting us about how we were doing charity wrong at times. So it's interesting.
The new one was Thursday night. I just happened to be up because I work a night job. There was a shooting in Upper Darby, and a cop actually got grazed by a bullet. And I went to go cover it, and I posted, I'm like, "There's been a shooting in Upper Darby, this area." And someone messaged us and goes, "No, you freaking idiot. Like, learn the facts. No one got shot. Like, you're an idiot. You're a bootlicker loser." And I was just like, I just had to respond with like, "Bro, I'm here." Like, taking a picture. I'm like, "You're in your basement. Like, I'm here."
I think your mom's calling you from upstairs. So why don't you go see what she wants and shut your mouth?
Yeah. And so I was like, "Do you not think we are one of the? I mean, I'm just talking about ourselves. We shouldn't be. We fact check the hell out of.
We try to. Like, we won't post anything that has facts to do, especially like something of that.
Well, that's why
magnitude and
after play
seriousness.
discussions, which I could live without, but I got to do them.
Yeah.
I always
a
say,
one-man show who you discuss with
yeah,
yourself.
yeah. Well, not like Ray Didinger's coming and stuff like that.
Oh, is he?
That's
Yeah, yeah.
awesome.
Oh, yeah, Ray's a friend.
Ray's a good dude.
And but I always say, let's do it like Jeopardy. Put it in the form of a question, because you get people go, well, you know what you ought to do. And a couple years ago, I went, sir, I'm going to stop you right there. What do you do for a living? Okay, you're an actuary. Okay, I don't know anything about that. But tomorrow I'm going to come to your office, watch you work for 2 hours, and then say, you know what you should do?
You should use the calculator left-handed. It'll change everything up.
I tell them, put it in the form of a question. Because I've gotten in some fights with it. I wrote a play called Rizzo.
Is it about Rizzo?
Frank Rizzo? Yeah, we did it, and then we did it twice in
What a
Philly.
crumb bum.
Yeah. And this guy stands up at the first of all, he stood up in a discussion. He goes, "This is a corrupt play." I said, "Shut up!" I said,
"You crumb bum."
I don't want to be here. I get a kidney stone. Shut up! You got an agenda. Well, every time I do that, it's happened a couple times. It seems there's somebody from the press there, and so it makes the papers. It happened in Philadelphia Magazine one time. I shut some people up in an audience. So, yeah.
Was it Victor Friorello, and why was it Victor Friorello?
But I mean, it's definitely part of what you you know what like I said, I used to sit there and want to just type back things to people's comments.
Not worth it.
Or come back at them. I've learned to use it against them, gaslight them, for lack of better words. Like, just like turn their like you said. Most people have an agenda. Most people were going to complain about you no matter what you do.
Or they're a useless pissant.
And 9 times out of 10, it's a jealousy, or because they know they can't do it and they won't do it. So it's just easy to sit back. It's like an armchair quarterback in the sports sense. Like, oh yeah, he should have thrown that farther to this guy. I'm like, you couldn't throw a rock 3 feet, but you're going to tell him to throw the football 60 yards instead of 50 yards. Okay.
And social media is great because it's just like, oh, thanks for literally the interaction. Like, that helps us out.
Oh yeah, now it's like, bring on the hate. I want it.
I like your concept.
99% of the audience are great.
Yeah.
And they can be fun and all that. But then you get that one person that wants to tell you how to write your play. And it's like, I don't listen to anybody.
I like your concept about critiques being in question, because it comes off literally just sounding nicer. Well, and it actually makes
happy to answer questions.
And it makes you introspect as well, too.
Sure.
It's not like an accusation. You're just like, why'd you do it? Be like, oh, I did it because of this. And sometimes even just talking it out can help you make it even better.
And when I was starting out, if I got the same question like 3 nights in a row, I go,
well, there's
something wrong with the play here. Yeah. So it helped you in that respect. So questions, no problem. Declarative statements, I'd prefer you didn't do that.
Yeah, right.
I got called a Democrat a lot at one point. I don't understand where that came from. I'm like, we do nothing political.
Yeah.
At all. We don't talk politics. We one time had a non-political debate where we brought in the 2 politicians and we asked them non-political questions.
We only asked them about food.
Yeah, like nothing to do with
We will only talk to politicians if they literally do not talk about politics.
Yeah.
And we'll make
Good
like a
policy.
buzzer noise if they go into it. Like, that's why my opponent, back to the cheesesteaks. Back to the Bonner O'Hara feud. Like, no, that's awesome. So it runs up until the 15th. That's what you have scheduled as the last day. But there could be, do they renew it by week? Do they renew it?
It would just be a week extension.
Is it like how like a movie goes into a theater? Is there something scheduled to be at Hedgerow like after the 15th?
Yeah. There's other shows coming in. So,
or the days that you're not there, the Mondays and Tuesdays, is there another show running that night?
No, not usually. Mondays are usually dark in the theater.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That goes for pretty much every theater.
That makes sense.
So real quick, because I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, and because we're the kings of getting off the tangent, not staying on track. I know, really, it's a shocker. Tell us where to get the tickets, how to get the tickets, the best way to do all this stuff, social media, all that stuff. I want to make sure we plug everything.
It's hedgerowtheater.org. It's theater, THEATRE.
Oh, the
British
way.
spelling. Yes. Yeah, or just put Hedgerow.
What
Theater
a controversy! It's right next to the aluminium recycling plant.
And there's a little tab right there that says, and you can pick your seats and everything. Some shows are sold out, but then we have others that there's room. And like it's 100 seats. It's intimate. It's great.
Which is cool. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't feel I have to be
Ooh,
project into the back row.
are the seats comfortable?
Yeah, they're padded benches.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Love
So
this.
As
So
a
you're not-
super large
Yes,
man, I
yes.
love every thing
Yep.
you just said.
Yep.
If you're and plus you have the tailgating of the Dollar Dog Night.
Mhm.
I am all about this.
And I can't do any of that because I got to act.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'll be looking out my dressing room window. Come on,
Just
somebody
want a
bring me a
hot dog.
dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll throw one up on the stage for you.
Without a spoiler alert, does the Philly fan end up in the jail cell at the vet or social department?
No, in fact, he's one of the more, these idiots. One of these guys.
How many times is the phrase 700 level said?
Oh, whole thing.
There we
Yes.
go.
Oh, yeah.
How many times is the word or the version of the word friggin' used? That's what I need to know.
No, we go with the real full Monty.
Oh,
there on
really?
that. Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah,
That's
but I cut a lot of them out
Okay.
because Tommy, he would put them in all the time, and then I would have to put them in the script because he was saying.
That's why I
them.
love the word friggin', because like
Yeah.
I'll put friggin' awesome or something like that.
Mhm.
Like that's how I PG some of our stuff. up.
We've cleaned the language up quite a bit. There's a couple moments in there, but no, it's we're R-rated at the most.
That's
It's
awesome.
best
so I can bring my
enjoyed-
8-year-old. Gotcha.
Best enjoyed by ages 16 plus due to adult language. And I just noticed the last two words on this page. No intermission. You were 85 minutes straight through.
Straight through.
My
No
God.
pee break.
Mm.
God bless you, man.
Hell, not everyone has diabetes like you.
And the thing is, I drink 2 beers and a scotch during the whole thing. So
Ah.
I'm drinking at the bar there,
Mhm.
not real beer.
They got him fully cathetered. He'd be fine.
a
Yeah.
little bulky there. So
Yeah.
it depends.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What's next on your plate when you're done this? I mean, do you have any?
Yeah, I have
perspectives?
another new play opening in Philly in January called The Flatlanders, and then we moved down to Delaware Theater Company. We're doing a co-production, so it'll run 3 weeks in Philly and then 3 weeks at Delaware Theater Company. That's 1812 Productions with Delaware Theater Company.
Okay.
Is that like the flat earthers?
No. This is what they call people from Philly when you go up to the Poconos.
Oh,
The
okay.
Flatlanders. Yeah.
I
Gotcha.
never heard that phrase.
Oh, neither did I.
So
till
it's
I
like the
started going through it.
Shoobies. I was just
It's like the
Shoobies.
Shoobies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Well, I love it. I love this. guy.
Holy Toledo, the Flatlanders. Oh my God, I love this.
It makes sense because we hate
Yeah.
stairs and
I
inclines.
hate inclines. I hate inclines.
Yeah.
Is that what it's? Is that play about like Pocono people? Like,
Oh yeah. It's
is it like Deliverance, but with the
no.
Poconos?
That's not quite. But no, that's just a 2-character play, and
Okay.
I wrote it for a married couple who have done my shows before, and they asked me to write them a play, and it's just like the most Neil Simon thing I've ever written.
They
I
asked
think.
you to write. Like, how long does it take you to write a play?
I have a play called Any Given Monday. All right, I have a little
Is it
sports
called
in there.
Monday?
Any
Is it
given
EE?
Monday.
Monday. I love
Monday with
it.
an E.
I thought about it for 20 years
Yes!
and then wrote it in 2 weeks.
You're my.
But I
You're
always,
my hero.
Wait,
Can you
said
adopt me?
thought about it for 20 years.
ba-
but wrote
I
it in
always
2
wanted to
weeks?
write a play that took place during a Monday night football game.
Okay.
Can
Yeah,
you
we-
adopt me?
Like, and because a lot of nutty things go on during a Monday night football. I mean,
Yeah.
Howard Cosell told me that John
Howard
Lennon had been
Cosell.
shot.
Yeah, 1980.
Yeah, just didn't. I was like, oh,
Howard
wow, yeah.
Cosell.
Joe Theismann broke his leg on Monday night.
Right.
Football, yeah.
One of the best sports.
Aaron
plays
Rodgers
ever.
broke his little
Leg
quad
on
on Monday
yeah.
night. Football.
4 plays in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they need to do the next one, the Jets fan, because they're really dealing with it.
Well, Chicago asked me if I'd write a version for Chicago, but they had the Bulls and all that thing, and the
Yeah, right.
5 Bears. I went, winning's not funny, It's,
Exactly.
Yeah, but they haven't won since the 90s.
Oh no, you
Yeah.
got that right.
I-
Oh, they're the Cubs.
The
Cubs
Cubs
won in
did not
08.
win World Series, yeah.
The-
With Kyle Schwarber,
Al,
full turnaround.
the Blackhawks literally won 3 Stanley Cups,
Nobody,
including
not even
against us.
Chicago cares about the Blackhawks.
That's
All right,
that's
let's
why I
go
always
throw that
hate
out there.
That's why I always hated Boston. Is they're just like, oh, the Red Sox never win. I'm like, you have
How many
5 Super Bowls,
Mhm.
you have a Celtics championship, and you have a
In
Bruins Stanley Cup.
since the year 2000, they have 5 Super Bowls, at least 1 NBA championship, one MLB
No,
championship.
they got 2 World Series.
Two World Series,
two, yeah.
They got
And-
13 and 4.
And the Bruins are always good. They just they won since
Bruins
2000.
won twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you talk to the fans right now, because they were the best team and they record-setting this year.
I despise Boston.
Oh.
Please tell me there's some Boston.
I can tell you, I probably dislike Boston fans more than I like New York New York fans.
It starts with boo, and the lights come up, and he's in a bar, and he's like, "Well, you're booing the news." What do you? That's Tom Brady, Patriots quarterback. Unless you're from Boston, everybody hates Tom Brady.
There you go.
That's the first 2 lines of the play.
Is there a name to the imaginary bar?
No, no.
Bummer.
Unless we get a sponsor.
Delco Live Bar. All right, we can do this. We can work something out. I'm not against selling out.
The Delco Live Dive.
The Delco Live Dive. There you go.
And they serve exclusively Lord Chesterfield, made by Pennsylvania's Yuengling.
Now we got to call the props people, get all new cans.
Yeah, we'll be on it. Don't worry, we got plenty of cans for you.
In your promo pick, I believe that's a Rolling Rock.
Yep.
With a victory glass.
We shot that at John's Bar, which when I lived for 15 years in media was
my favorite place in the world. My favorite place in the world.
Yeah. Well, my father said, "You go to John's Bar?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "My father grew up in media." He goes, "Every Friday I had to drag your grandfather out of there." I said, skip the generation. Every payday, that's where my grandfather was.
John's Bar is my favorite.
I love it.
And Old State are my 2 favorite in that city.
It's funny because like when you say it skipped a generation, me and my dad were literally talking about this. My dad, if I told him, I said, "Oh, we got a playwright coming. He's coming to do a show," and he's like, and he looks at me with you in Holbrook, he kind of does like one of these things to me. He goes, because my dad is a play guy. Mm-hmm. He loves plays. I mean, all the different stuff. I mean, a lot of times, Christmas and birthdays and stuff like that, I will buy them tickets to a play.
Nice present.
Actually, this year he wanted to go see Jeff Dunham, so I got him tickets to that. But he just was kind of shocked by it because my dad is his father. His father was the first. He's the one who came up with watching 2 TVs at one time before that was a thing. And he had one of those little black and white, rectangular ones you could sit on your lap with the antenna. And he was a sports nut. My other grandfather's sports nut, all that stuff. My uncles, my cousin, not my dad. He only wanted to the Super Bowl because he liked to play the pool. That was it. Mm-hmm. And then there's me, who is my dad doesn't drink. He doesn't go to bars. He doesn't do any of that stuff.
Same thing with my dad. And he didn't
he care less
either.
about sports. The only sports he watched was me playing. Mm-hmm. And that was about it. And a couple times, we got free tickets, and I was too young to go by myself. But other than that, it's funny how it does skip a generation like that. Yeah. Hey, Delco. Would you like to sell your house quickly without having to fix anything or go through a realtor? Are you behind on your mortgage or property taxes? Did you inherit a property? Are you a landlord just tired of fixing leaky toilets? Well, we got the answer for you. Visit www.evanbuyspa.com for a no-obligation cash offer. That's right, Evan buys houses in Delco for cash as is. For a fair cash offer, go to www.evanbuyspa.com. With Evan, you don't have to pay any commissions, and you can close on the date of your choice. If there's anything you want to leave behind on the property, like heavy furniture, trash bags, all the junk in the basement, you can do it. And for a limited time, he will cover all your closing costs. That's right. Visit evanbuyspa.com. That's evanbuyspa.com. Again, the website is evanbuyspa.com.
What's your favorite play, and what's the best play you've seen live?
Oh, wow. And my favorite, and it's kind of
mine and me.
Yeah. Streetcar Named Desire still blows me away.
Okay.
I've even seen bad productions where it works. I'm a Neil Simon guy. Not many playwrights will admit they like Neil Simon. I learned a lot from Neil Simon. I did The Odd Couple twice as an actor. I did Barefoot in the Park. I'd done so many Neil Simons. I did 3 in a row of a Bristol Riverside Theater. So I learned a lot from Mr. Simon about structure and about how to put the laugh in.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your favorite role that you've ever played?
Bad guys. I love playing the Little Foxes. This play, and I'm this, sleazy Southern businessman, and I love that 700 people in the audience all going, and it's like, they hate me. I love it. I love playing bad guys. Yeah.
And it's funny you say that because it's like, is it just a way because it's escape from your normal reality?
No, I'm a bad guy.
No, I'm really a dick, guys. I'm real a-hole.
Half the time, not even acting. I put on an accent and be me.
I'm acting right now being a nice guy.
That could be part of it. It's like, I get to do devious things that I'm not allowed to do in real life or anything. But no, I've just always enjoyed playing. See, I was never a leading man. I never got the girl.
I always wanted to be Hans Gruber. True facts. If somebody could write me a Die Hard play, I'd be Hans Gruber.
Okay, good villain.
Yeah. I always wanted to be thrown out of a
I
tower.
was always the comedy best friend, you know, or
the funny best friend.
or the dad, you know. And I was like, so
Yeah, I've always been the guy with a good personality when girls would talk about me too.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
What's the worst role you've ever had?
Oh my God, Villanova in grad school, a production of Frankenstein.
Did you go to grad school now?
Well, I didn't graduate, but yeah.
Did you ever go to Kelly's?
What's that?
You ever go to Kelly's?
Oh,
the bar?
sure. Yeah.
I'm a bouncer there at night.
Ah, okay.
No,
No,
he just bounces.
I-
He falls and he bounces. It's
I
hilarious.
use this play as an example in my class of a play written by a guy who was never on stage in his life.
Gotcha.
Because
The
there were 3
directions are rough.
instances where, and I had 2 of them, where I had to go, Victor, no, please don't ask me. God, I'm begging you, Victor, no, Victor, no, don't make me. Okay, I will. It's like, what? You know, give me a couple lines to change my mind. And so
Yeah.
the
Okay.
director, I went to the director, I said, I'm going to write a few lines in here. And as the playwright shows up, I'm going to teach him something. Okay. I'm a little arrogant that way. So I did. He let me
Okay.
put some lines in it. but it was-
Arrogance and confidence.
Yeah,
line
well,
there.
it's,
Yeah.
And
I'd imagine to be
that was just awful. Yeah.
I would imagine to be a playwright, an actor, there has to be a little arrogance because think about it. Like what you're doing is you think you're funny and people are willing to pay for you to watch you in some sort of way. There's got to be an arrogance.
Oh,
with it, right?
absolutely.
I mean,
No.
what we do, I have to assume there's a mild, maybe why people dislike you from afar or on social media
Mhm.
because they just see the arrogance in what we do and like, what a bunch of jackasses who think people want to watch a 45-minute episode of them talking about being fat and stupid, like So yeah, I imagine arrogance has to come with.
Well, it is. Basically, you're saying, all right, you're in here. I got your money, and in a full length play for 2 hours, you're going to listen to me.
Yeah, especially your plays.
Because there's a certain arrogance to that. Yeah, and I was asked to do playwright notes. They always ask me to put in the program, and I never do it. I say they're listening to me for hours here. I don't need to add anything.
Right,
else.
right.
Thanks
Yeah.
for coming.
Yeah.
What is
Enjoy the dollar dogs.
Yes.
What is the most obscure reference in the Philly fan to play?
Wow, that's a good one. There's a couple. Let me think of the well, people my age remember it, but I don't know if you would remember the '64 collapse, the Phillies, the greatest collapse.
I'm
Yeah,
aware
I
of
know
it,
about it. Yeah,
Right. Well,
I'm gonna miss it by a couple of years.
my mother was a second grade teacher
Uh-huh.
who never swore in her life, but she was a baseball fan. And one
And she never
morning at
swore in her life?
breakfast, never. And then I heard her at the radio because the game went on the night before, and she went, "Damn!" I was like, "64 Phillies made my mother swear." You know, that's how bad. But I know there's things, especially for younger people, that they're not going to quite get. But we keep the references so general. Like I said, the first time we did the play, we did a reading of it in my living room in Rose Valley, and we had 11 people there, and 10 of them were women who did not like sports.
Okay.
And I said, because if I bring my friends in, they're going to get. And it worked. We had some cutting to do and some things structurally. But I said, if I can keep their attention for 70 minutes or so, and they're not sports fans, then we're on the right track.
Mhm.
You know, because I knew sports fans, you walk in, I got you.
Because that's got to be the rough one is tiptoeing that line of like
Mhm.
niche versus keeping a general audience.
Yeah.
Like that's got to be some tough writing to do.
I mean, there's even a joke in there about Joe Buck and that Tim McCarver.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
McCarver, he hates the Phillies. I'd rather hear Helen Keller call a game than that bastard.
Which is weird because he was a Philly
I know he was.
and he won a championship on the 80 team.
Well, we do a thing.
he hates
Spoiler alert: we win the Super Bowl. But we have Joe Conklin doing the voices.
Oh, really?
Conklin does the voices.
In the videos, I think.
yeah, and-
Okay.
That's
and
awesome.
at the
I
end,
love Joe
we've
Conklin.
got the video, but we have Merrill Reese calling it.
Oh,
Because
chills.
if you listen to it, Chris Collinsworth is pissed off that
Yeah.
Philly's going to win.
Oh yeah.
He hated us, and I remember hearing it and going, "We're all hating Chris Collinsworth," and then hearing, and we said, "This is a downer." So we put the voice of Merrill Reese calling it with his
So you
exact
dubbed
call,
it over the.
but we've got it over the TV, so it's willing suspension of disbelief.
Good,
But boy,
good,
it works.
good.
It really works.
Actually, they were
They
selling
did that in the Always Sunny episode.
people. This is how funny it was. After the Super Bowl, people were trying to sell I call it a bootleg version of but they were dubbing the radio over the video. I know bars that were
Really?
replaying the Super Bowl like out on a projector on a wall, and then but it was dubbed over on Merrill Reese's call. And then of course they always added in the Ray Diddy crying with his son situation, which if you ask him, he'll tell you that he's probably tired of hearing about that. They were selling bootleg copy. Like, I'll get you like $5. I'll give you a download or link or something for it. I'm like, all right, you're not buying it.
I mean,
do it
you
myself.
can't sync it up anymore because we used to turn the TV down.
Well, they used to
and put Merle and
they
Mike
used to
on,
promote that. They said, 94 WIP is syncs with Comcast or now Xfinity, but
45 seconds behind.
Yeah. And I mean, nowadays a lot of people don't even watch Comcast. It's YouTube TV, it's Hulu Live, and all that stuff. So it's even further behind because that's the one downfall. Because I have YouTube TV and like Twitter, because Twitter ruins everything. Like if you like watching the draft and all that stuff, and like you're like, all right, well, I'm about 2 picks ahead right now because the TV's behind.
Yes.
Like it does suck that you can't sync it with the radio. It really was. I wish that they would start offering that option on a TV channel, like where you can sync up the radio feed with the TV feed.
Well, we moved Yom Kippur break fast to our house. My daughter lives 5 blocks from us in Philly. She has Roku TV.
Yes.
And it's like, she's like, all right, maybe we can bring dinner over there. Good. I got the Eagles game on the background there, So that worked out.
That is awesome. I am absolutely going to swing by. Not the 6th. I will come by at some point. I am really.
I want to go see this. I want to see this because I said not. This is gonna be hard to believe. Just gonna put this out there. Haven't been to many plays. I know, shocked. As worldly as I come off, not so much. But it's funny how I got turned on to plays because of what we talked about a little earlier. Tommy and me went to go see that. Of course, big Eagles fan and all. Ray Diddy and. Gave him love because one of the first interviews I did, because I do a sports program too, was with Ray Didinger, and like he's an old school guy where mostly the most electronic thing he does is email.
Right.
He still has he calls the dumb phone and all that stuff. And I took a shot and I said, one of my articles I wrote, I said, I'm not a writer, never been a writer, didn't go to school for writing. I barely passed English and I don't speak English very well. But give me your input, and you know what? The man read it, and he came back with like great critiques that I still use to this day, and I love him for it. And I went and saw that, and like now I really want to see this. I want to see this thing. This sounds awesome.
Well, you can see it. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, it just and the director Joe Canuso has done all of the Philly fans, so now he's doing it with me. He's directed a lot of my plays, but he's never directed me as an actor.
Oh,
or Joe. Yeah, it's not easy.
You feel bad for him already.
Yeah, but Ray Didinger, when he was writing Tommy and me, we went out to breakfast at the Penrose Diner, and he just told me the story to see if it was a play. And he's telling me the story, and he gets to the end, he goes, "Do you think it's a play?" I go, "I'm crying here over my bacon and eggs at the Penrose Diner." I said, "Yeah, this is a play." And
that's not just because of high cholesterol either.
Yeah, well, that too. But,
yeah, no.
And then I worked as a dramaturg on it. A dramaturg meaning just I coached, it was like would ask questions, But he's a journalist, so we'd have notes at my house, and like an hour later, he'd had a rewrite because he's a journalist.
Yeah,
he's used to going home and writing on a deadline.
Right.
And I was like, "Right, take your time," But the play is beautiful. It really is.
It is, and I know we've taken a lot of your time as just pure, So when you write, you said it took you about a couple of weeks to actually write a play, right? Is that typical? A couple of weeks?
Yeah, but there's a long thinking process. Like I'll be writing one play, but thinking about the next one and making notes, and then you just sit down and I write them all longhand.
So how about like the play directions? Do they come second? Like when it says like this?
Oh yeah.
Okay, like you just write the story and
unless it's
words.
a really important entrance or an exit or something.
Yeah.
It's nah. In fact, as an actor, I rarely read them.
Okay.
It's like my dialogue.
Yeah, I just felt your director going, oh.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We know. We know, Graham.
Oh, no, Joe Canuso is a very patient man, but there's a couple times he's going, well, you say you do this. And I say, oh, forget those stage directions. Don't worry about it.
They're just a director's opinion. They're not actual instructions. I got you.
What's the hardest part, continuity or dialogue to write?
Uh, continuity, the structure, and everything. Dialogue, I'm lucky.
I feel some people have it.
Yeah,
I always grew up hearing
Holbrook,
like
Holbrook
dialogue.
could do that. I think.
First thing I make my students do is go out and tape record a conversation
Yeah.
and write it verbatim. Don't change a thing.
Okay.
Because I'm very aware that we're on doing this, and I'm very aware of how I'm speaking. But if you had seen me in the fourth quarter of the Eagles game last night, a whole different voice. So. And we change our voice all the time.
It's funny. A guy that I started doing podcasting with a while ago, he was in a writing class and all that stuff. And they had to write a small play. And they said, I guess, is this something you learned in school? Because he said the same thing. The guy said, you have to take a conversation you had with somebody and write it. And then he made him write it and made it, you can add a little pizzazz to it or, dress it up or whatever you want to do. And he wrote it about a drunken conversation he had about me. So, and he goes, the play, and he was like new to college, and he's like, I don't know, am I allowed to kind of write like bad words? And like, he just kind of felt funny about it. But the guy said, have at it. Don't worry. Just say what you want. It's what you're having. And so he goes, okay. He goes, yo, I got an A+ because of your mouth. So I'm like, oh, that's good to hear. But the funniest part is, so the next time around, they invited the acting class in to act out the scene. And he's like, please don't pick this one. Please don't pick this one. He goes, and we're going to start with you.
Of course, yeah.
And he's like, so he had he didn't even know his comedy. It was like, years ago. So he had to record it on a dictaphone or whatever you want to call it. And we still play back and listen to it, how these people try to portray who we are in this conversation.
I tell my students, the secret to writing comedy is to hang out with funny people who can't write. My best friend, who I've been hanging out with since fourth grade.
I'm neither. I can't write or nor funny.
He's funnier than I'll ever be. And so they used to have a count how many lines of his I'd steal to put in the plays. And at Belmont Avenue Social Club, one of my plays, he comes out at intermission. He's a big guy. And he jacks me up against the wall and goes, "You're sucking my essence," and turns around and walks away.
That's the greatest line ever.
The whole lobby turns. I'm going, he's homeless. We'll put him out. Don't worry about it.
Sucking my essence.
And when I wrote,
you even take me to dinner before you suck my essence.
When I wrote Any Given Monday, the part is basically, blatantly, I should say, him. And he worked for SEPTA for years, and in underground. And he comes to see it, and I'm up in the balcony, and he doesn't laugh much anyway. And finally, I see him occasionally from the back going like this.
Yeah.
Up and down, he's laughing. We go back to my house for dinner in South Philly. He's eating the pasta, and he goes, "It's probably your best play." But yeah, in fact, he came back to see it again when I took over the part. And the lights come up, and I can see him in the audience. He wouldn't tell me he was coming. I was like, So,
kind of along those lines, have you ever written like smaller parts based on people but like maybe it wasn't the best part of that person? And people are like,
well, any given Monday again. My wife, I will leave the script, and then we have a house in Maryland. I go there. I don't want to be in the same house when she's reading the play. And I come back a couple days later, and I see page 40. I said, "No, she hadn't finished it yet." She goes, "No, I'm reading it again. I don't think I like this play. I'm Lenny, aren't I?" And I went, I changed the sex and everything. How'd you know? And it was.
I never wrote somebody into a play not knowingly, like
sometimes, yeah.
Like, and somebody goes, "You wrote that about me," and you're like, "No, I didn't, but it is." Oh my god!
Yeah, we did have something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went to Barrymore for that, and I had said I usually thank my wife, but she didn't like the play. No, I'm not. No.
Well, what are you supposed to pull from? It's what you know, right?
You write what you know.
I thought I'd get away with it. She's too sharp.
Yeah.
But you can.
Yet they married us. I always say that. I said, "You tell me how smart you are." And by the way, my wife is way better looking than me. It's like, and it's funny because people tell me I look like Kevin James. I don't see it. Whatever. But they make like, especially my good friends. They call my wife Carrie, but her name's not Carrie because of the King of Queens.
Oh,
and they remind her like she looks, same build as her, and she acts like her and yells at me like she yells at him. So it's kind of funny how that happened, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, you can check out Bruce Graham and the one-man show, The Philly Fan, at the Hedgerow Theater. That's the one on Rose Valley Road down there near Pennsylvania Institute of Technology.
Good old pit.
And all that. It is a grand opening. There's previews tonight and tomorrow. I mean, you obviously cannot see tonight's because it has already happened. It opens September 29th to the general public. It is a 7:30 p.m. show every night that it's airing, except there is a matinee on Wednesday, October 4th. If you have nothing going on in the middle of a Wednesday, I think that's maybe when I'll go by.
Is that the Tailgating Day?
There's
Or is it Dollar
nothing-
Hot Dog Day? Because that would be a good idea.
There's a matinee on Saturday, September 30th, October 14th. I don't know. You can find it on the website. It is a one-man show about the pain and agony of just being a Philadelphia sports fan. This has been a great interview. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
All the
so
stuff
much.
you've talked about was
I
so
really,
much
I
fun.
really feel like I'm
Insane.
sitting in a bar here. So
Yeah,
I-
well,
I
you got
love
two
it.
drunks on either side of you. So.
Anything else you want to plug or let us know about?
no, I think
This
we went
was great.
through the whole list there.
Yeah, we'd love to have you back on sometime again
Sure,
too. This is
anytime.
great. Yeah.
Tickets are $35 unless you're a student. They are 20, or if you go, either tonight or tomorrow, it's $20. So it's $35, which is more than fair because, I mean, an IMAX movie is like $28 nowadays, and you get a live interaction, 85 minutes nonstop.
Yeah, no pee breaks for this man.
Yeah, it's not just for the sports fan. It's not just for Philadelphia residents. Like
Anybody likes a good laugh?
Yeah.
Yeah, check it out. This is awesome, and we'll see you guys next time.